Do you remember the movie Groundhog Day?
You've been asking me that question every single day.
Well, it sounds like you remember it. But sometimes when you're looking for a spouse during the search, you end up meeting the same toxic person over and over again, like in different fonts. And at some point, you start to wonder, is it me? Am I the problem? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Muslim Marriage Podcast, where we show you how to find and build a healthy marriage as a Muslim. I'm Zahra Hassan.
And I'm AJ, and we've been married for 4 years now.
And let's get started. But before we get started, I know we said get started, but before we get started, let's answer the question from last week's quiz time. Remember where we introduced that new segment where we're going to be asking little questions to help the audience try to remember some of these things
Yes.
when they're out and about in the real world. So last week's question was, what are the two characteristics of people who are manipulators that will always and forever be present? So characteristic number one is that they have a very serious difficulty with boundaries. So people who are manipulators will never be able to respect boundaries. Right? So that's present in all people who have manipulative tendencies. And characteristic number two is they have a real problem with criticism.
Yes.
So boundaries and criticism.
Absolutely.
Make sense? I feel like you're just agreeing with me. Are you trying to manipulate me?
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you always know?
Because I literally spot manipulation. But that's the answer.
Yeah.
For next week's episode, the next episode that we complete, In Shaa Allah, the quiz time now will be how long, when somebody is in that space of being in a talking stage and meeting somebody and being in a talking stage, how long should they carry out a talking stage before getting married? Or how long should you be knowing somebody for the purpose of marriage before you actually get married? And that'll be answered next episode.
Wonderful. And let's get started.
And let's get started for real now. Okay, so this week's episode is entitled, Why Do I Attract Toxic People? Interesting. When you were back and looking for a spouse, did you notice a pattern in the type of people that you were meeting?
Yeah, but that's usually because I was toxic myself.
Were you the pattern in other people's lives?
No, I wasn't the toxic one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I carrying out a pattern? Okay. It brought up so many questions in our past. I'm like, did I fall for it?
Let's get started.
Okay. But definitely it's something that I've experienced and I know a lot of my clients have experienced. So that's why I thought it would be a good idea to talk about it today.
Yeah, I've definitely experienced toxic people in the past.
Yeah, but over and over again or just the one time?
I'd say like 25% of the time.
Okay, so that's fairly low. What I'm talking about is that you end a talking stage with somebody because you finally recognize the red flags and you understand, okay, that was not a good situation to be in.
If that's the case.
That was not a good situation to be in. And so you start a new talking stage with somebody and a month or 2 months down the line, you're like, oh, it's the exact same type of person that I'm talking to again. I don't know how that happened. You know what? Let me try again.
Mm-hmm.
And then you end up with the same type of it happens consecutively over and over.
Yeah.
That's happened. Has that happened to you?
If that's the case, then about 25%.
Okay, once again. So I'm talking for a lot of us, it's a lot higher than 25% of the time. So that brings us to the question that's coming from the Muslim Marriage subreddit. This is asked by, I believe, a sister. And she says, I have been thinking about and seeking marriage for a few months now. The more I talk to men, the more terrified I get. Is it just a problem I am facing, i.e., is it just the type of people I attract? I feel like I have a lot of positives and I have a lot to offer, but the men I have spoken to, they honestly shake me to the core with their outlook on life. What makes it worse is that they hold their opinions with an Islamic lens that, in my humble opinion, is not very Islamic. I truly hope that there are good people out there. Again, it might just be me. I have been told by friends that I am insecure, which provides a light bulb on men's heads saying that they have a right to impose their negative ideas about women and life, which they would have otherwise not done. Does anyone else have a similar experience or any positive stories about good men in their lives? Because I am losing hope. Honestly, I could have written this at some point. But what are your thoughts?
I don't have any thoughts, unfortunately.
About this situation?
It's difficult for me to put myself in her mindset because I haven't really gone through those experiences myself.
Yeah. But so what jumps out at me is that she's fairly young. She says that she's been looking for 3 months.
Yeah.
3 months is a relatively short period of time.
Yeah.
I understand the disheartening that comes from coming across the same type of person over and over, and especially when all of us are on social media, and the algorithms seem to be pushing out this narrative these days of men not being great and women not being great, right? So that I can see why all of that information will make it start to feel like that there aren't really many good matches out there. So I understand where she's coming from. But first thing that would jump out at me is that she hasn't been looking long, in a relative sense. And the second thing that jumps out is when she said that her friends suggested that she might be insecure and that she might be having a light bulb on her head. That other men, or the men that she doesn't want, the toxic men, are recognizing her and seeking her out. So what she's alluding to here is an idea about attracting a certain type of person.
Yeah.
Or this is a terminology that's used a lot in the relationship world, both Muslim and non-Muslims, that once you start meeting the same type of person over and over again, they talk about, am I attracting this type of person?
So she's like a firefly.
Yeah. So do you think it's possible to just be attracting the wrong type of people over and over again?
Yeah, I mean, it's very possible to do that. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like it's very easy to do that.
What would be the mechanism of how is it that somebody would be attracting someone toxic?
Well, under the Islamic worldview, that would be the way that you speak.
Okay.
Right? Because the assumption is that everyone is dressed modestly already, right?
Yeah.
Then the assumption is that people are not dating each other, right? So it would go down to the way someone speaks. So if they speak timidly, or if they speak shy, or if they speak with lack of confidence,
yeah,
that might be
I agree with
calling lambs to the slaughter.
Or yeah, exactly. So I agree with you, right? Where I think I mentioned it before in an episode where I was actually in a fairly large group where we were talking about relationships, and I was leading a conversation about this topic or that topic. But one of the individuals who was in the group was somebody who was diagnosed narcissistic personality disorder. And so I thought we all thought that was very interesting. So we were asking him some questions, and he pointed out at one point, he said, before you guys say anything else, I just want to let you know that I can recognize who here that I would be targeting. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, I would be, he pointed me out. He said, I would be targeting Zara, and along with another young lady. And then how did you notice? He said, I can sense vulnerability in the way that you speak. And now thinking back, I think what he meant was exactly what you mentioned, that language is very powerful. And when you're speaking with language that leaves space or that hints at self-doubt, that portrays a level of vulnerability that people will either be looking for, right, or looking for or looking to avoid.
Yeah.
Depending on if they're, if they are a manipulator or not a manipulator. However, the place where I have an issue with that is the word attraction, because it gives this idea that we're somehow a magnet, right? Even with our language, even with our vulnerabilities in place, even with all of these things, the manipulators are in the same marriage pool that we all have access to. right? So if you live in a particular city, if you live live in a particular city, for example, and you are using a dating app, we are all looking at the same individuals based on the filters for age and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's not like there is a special marriage pool that is only coming for you, right? That's not how it works. The issue is not with attraction. The issue is with tolerance.
I get it.
Yeah.
No, I get it. It makes sense. If you have your limitation set to like within 10 kilometers of me, usually people have like on the apps.
Yeah.
They'll set like a distance limiter.
Mm-hmm.
And so the people in that distance limiter,
mm-hmm.
they may all have the same mindset, right?
Yeah.
The culture may all be the same. So it could be maybe she's just very unlucky
mm-hmm.
and she happens to be living in a place where the majority of men there have some sort of toxic masculinity about them.
It could be, but what I'm alluding to more, what I'm trying to suggest more, is that everyone is coming across the same manipulators in the marriage market. The only difference between this young lady and the other people is that the other people recognize the red flags, see the red flags, and walk away a lot faster. Whereas she's having a harder time seeing the red flags or dismissing the red flags, or what's the most common, excusing away the red flags. That's the most common habit that we have, and then staying longer. So the issue is not so much with attraction. The issue is more with tolerance. What are you tolerating?
Okay, so she's legitimately insecure. Because usually it's insecurity that leads to more tolerance, right?
Yeah, exactly, right? But all of us are insecure to some degree. But her set of insecurities, like for so many women and for myself included in the past, is making her vulnerable to choosing to spend time with people that she shouldn't be spending time with. Whereas somebody who doesn't share that insecurity, or at least has neutralized it to some level, is able to recognize it, see it, and not excuse it away and walk away faster. Because once again, the key to, number one, avoiding heartbreak, and number two, actually getting to the right people, the right person who you're compatible with, who you can actually get married to and have a good marriage with. The key to doing all of that is to recognizing the wrong people quickly, walking away from them quickly. Spending too much time with them is where all of the mistakes happen. So you alluded to the reason why she was tolerating them is related to her insecurities.
Mm.
Can you explain that for us a little bit?
Yeah, like for example, when I was a kid
mm-hmm.
and I was in class, right? If a teacher says something incorrect, like she gives an example and she makes a mistake or she's wrong or something like that,
mm-hmm.
and I try to correct the teacher and she doesn't accept the correction, if I'm insecure, I'm not going to try to speak up any further.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not going to try to correct the teacher any further.
Mm-hmm.
And I might just accept the incorrect information. Everyone's worse off for that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If it comes to conversation between one person and another person, if I'm insecure but I'm correct, I may not be able to push forward that argument, and I might just end up being walked all over.
Oh, yeah, pretty much. So in this situation, it can be very similar, but the insecurities that show up in the context of romantic relationships,
mm-hmm.
which is what we're talking about here, are a little bit different, right?
Yeah, typically you might agree to marry someone that you don't actually want to marry.
But why would someone do that? What would be the reason? Like, assuming that coercion
because they might think that no one else would accept them.
Okay, so you're saying that the pain of being accepted by this person who's not good for you is less than the pain of not being accepted by anyone.
It's a scarcity bias. That's what I think, right?
Yeah.
I think that they might think
mm-hmm.
that, oh, this is the only person that's available for me.
Mm-hmm.
Thus, this is the best relation. They might not see it as a negative right off the bat.
Yeah.
They might think that it's a positive. Like, oh my God, this person's willing to accept me as I am.
Yeah.
Right? So they think that there's scarcity on that end.
I think what's going on more often is that the people who they meet, right, the people who they meet initially don't present themselves as a terrible person in the beginning.
Oh, like they're the anglerfish, the ones that have the little light in front of them.
Actually, that's exactly perfect. The anglerfish. So that little light, that they're shining on people, that they're attracting people to them, right? Or that they are convincing a woman to stay around and tolerate me long enough to get married to me, etc. That light is pain relief.
Yeah.
Pain relief. So let's this is why
by the time it's too late, you'll be in a world of pain.
A different type of pain, right? So a big
you'll
reason.
You'll be in the stomach of the anglerfish.
Okay, this is a little specific.
Sorry, did I take it too far?
A little bit specific.
All right, let's dial it back.
That was the scary scene in Finding Nemo, by the way.
And let's get started.
Okay. So if we talk a little bit back to what do I mean by pain relief? It goes back to what are these insecurities, and it's important to understand them, and it's important to understand why the insecurity makes you stay. So there is a general truth of human nature that we don't do anything unless it benefits us, even if it feels like if it feels like or there is literal coercion. Disobeying that person is more painful than doing what it is that they want. Like there's always a calculation, either conscious or subconscious, of pain. And we tend to opt for what gives pain avoidance, or even better, pain relief.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what are the pains that happen here? So again, this comes, like so many other things, comes back to core wounds that were an individual might be carrying, that were they received during their childhood or during a particularly traumatic romantic relationship. But there's now a core wound, and this core wound a very common one could be around self-worth, that I am not worthy, or that because I'm not worthy, no one is going to be able to love me. I'm not worthy of love. So no one is going to be able to accept me. So that core wound around self-worth, the associated fear is usually a fear of rejection, right? So this is a common dynamic. So if somebody is carrying this core wound and is in the process of searching for a spouse, which is rife with rejection, that is constantly, so you're in this state of constantly being triggered over and over again for all the people who are rejecting you on the apps, or on the dating apps, or on the individual who you met through your family or friends who decided that you're not for them, or just all of this rejection. And usually at this age, people are also looking for work, and in today's economy, there just isn't any work. So you're dealing with all of this pain of rejection, on a subconscious level. But the pain is very real. So you get to a point where either you get off of the apps, which is pain avoidance, right? Which is a wonderfully logical conclusion. Or you look for the other aspect, which is real pain relief.
Yeah.
So the way a gentleman approaches you, if he approaches you promising pain relief directly or indirectly, that's someone you're going to choose. And even though you see the red flags, you're like, okay, so there's this red flag and there's that red flag, his last relationship was this brother, he was divorced 2 months ago, right? So he might not be, he's in the middle of custody battle with his children, or like just all just real legitimate red flags that suggest that he might not be emotionally available. But you're going to excuse them away because he's offering pain relief. So and that's why people stay longer than they should, right? So you can see that it's an issue of tolerance. Whereas somebody who's not carrying that core wound, when she comes across an individual who is promising, you know what, I think you're beautiful, I think you're amazing, and all of these words, all of these soothing words, because she doesn't really need, right? There's nothing there to soothe because she doesn't have this pain. The pain, it's like giving Advil to somebody or ibuprofen to somebody who's not in pain. It's not going to do anything. Right? So she is able to neutralize that and pay attention to the actual individual and see that, oh, he's 2 months out of a divorce. This is too much of a red flag. This is not going to work out.
Yeah.
So she might not even start that conversation with him. Does that make sense? Yeah. So it's all about tolerance. Sorry, you were going to say.
Yeah. So when it comes to the whole tolerance aspect, I understand you have a lot of tolerance for me, right? Sometimes I do things that don't make any sense.
Likewise.
Our history is filled with a lot of stats.
Interesting.
Speaking on stats, 100% of the people who have ever passed away have either ingested or had inside them dihydrogen monoxide.
Okay.
People are not talking about this.
It sounds very important.
The most common cause of death is living. That's terrifying.
It really is.
And one more stat that's terrifying.
Yeah.
We don't have enough subscribers. So everyone, please like and subscribe, comment in our videos, and ask your questions below. Answer the questions that we've asked, and hopefully we'll be able to get to them in the next episode.
That was very smooth.
And
I like
let's get started.
Okay. That was very smooth. I did not see that coming. But hopefully that's clear, right? So the issue here, for the sister who's asking this question, and she's asking, is it me? My answer is yes, sister, it is you. Just like it was me when this was me, it was me. Yeah. And that's good news. It's not bad news. It's very good news, because what that means is that you now have some ability to change that reality. This is another reason why I don't like the language of attraction, because you have no control over attraction. It takes away your ability to change the situation. But tolerance, that's a whole different equation, because if it's about tolerating, that's something I have some power over. It's empowering. So yes, sister, it is you. So how it is that you address this issue is work to try to figure out what are your core wounds, right? What are the things that are making you stay? If you think back to the way that this brother is approaching you, what in that approach made you feel so seen, or made you feel so accepted? Or what did it make you feel, and what did he say to make you feel? Like, to try to identify what was the pain relief that he was offering. And by identifying the pain relief, it'll give you some insight into what needed relieving, what might be the core wounds. And knowing your core wounds, start working on the core wounds. There's so much amazing information on the internet. I'm not a specialist in that. I have my own core wounds that I work on. But the way that I do it is I learn about them, find resources that talk about strategies on how to reprogram them, and then come up with a protocol for myself of how to reprogram it. And that's what I recommend you do. It's going to require work and research, but we are in the age of information, so a lot of that's available to you.
Some of that research can be done on the website, ZahraHassanCoaching.com.
Okay, ironically, none of that can be done on our website, but I really like the plug.
Research can be done on the website, ZahraHassanCoaching.com.
I appreciate that. Jazaa K'Allah Khayr.
Link below. And let's get started.
Okay, I appreciate that. Jazaa K'Allah Khayr. You're getting very good at this. But just for the record, I don't do anything related to trauma coaching. Absolutely. I stay in my lane, which makes sense. Which is relationship coaching. So that's what I recommend that you do. If you have any questions that are about more specific information on how to start to work on core wounds, let me know in the comments below. Reach out to me somehow. And if enough people want information on this topic, then I can do an episode on the limited knowledge that I have, or at least maybe even my journey on reprogramming core wounds. But that's as it is in most cases, the bedrock of what the issue is, once again, comes back to core wounds. Hopefully that makes sense. And I think, In Shaa Allah, we've addressed the sister's concerns. Is there anything that we're missing?
In Shaa Allah. We did pretty good.
We did.
Let's get started.
We're almost finished.
Oh.
Yeah, but is there anything that we're missing that you would want to say from your perspective? Yeah, go ahead.
So recall that if you're single, the person that you're meant to marry, it's already decided for you.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't tie your camels.
Yeah.
You still need to go out there. You still need to look.
Yeah.
You can't just sit back, not do your research, not try to improve, and expect to get married to the person that's destined for you.
Yeah.
Because it could very well be that you're not destined to marry anyone.
Yeah, it's true. But we also, it's 100%. It's about what was written for you is what is going to happen. But at the same time, we don't know what was written for us. Like we can't see what name was written down beside our name. So what we can do as individuals here is, like you said, tie our camels.
Yeah.
And the way that we tie our camels in 2025 is different from the way we did it in 2020 to the year 2000 and earlier in our parents' generation. And we talked about that before. The way they tied their camels is they had to use less knots because so much was known about everyone in the community. But in today's world where people are almost completely unknown and completely unvetted, full strangers who can have literally anything in their background, you need to tie your camels down pretty securely.
Yeah.
With a lot of
might
chains.
even have to build a barn around them.
Yeah, pretty much, right? And what that means is learning the information that you need now, in order to avoid, to the best of your ability, pain later. And the information that you need now is the most important information is learning how to spot people that you shouldn't be talking to and you definitely should not be getting married to, and learning how to spot people, to recognize people who you are actually compatible with and who have the ability to build a happy, healthy marriage with you. These are completely different populations, and we need to know how to recognize who is who. I think that's the key to everything. Having said that,
let's get started.
No, we're almost done. Having said that, if you are a young Muslim woman and you are on the dating apps trying to do exactly that, which is find a spouse, but you'd like some guidance on how to do that safely and successfully, In Shaa Allah, feel free to sign up for my live webinar entitled Dating App Strategies That Actually Work, done with me live for 1 hour. Offer these now only once a month, I believe on the last Saturday of the month. I think that this month that's the 29th of November. So if that sounds like something that would be helpful for you, feel free to sign up. And also, if you haven't downloaded your copy of the compatibility guide, the link for the description for that is also in the description below. It's a guide that does exactly what it says. It shows you how to assess compatibility in new people that you're talking to. So inshallah, that's everything. If you have stayed with us this long, Jazaa K'Allah Khayr, we appreciate you very much for choosing to spend your time with us. Go ahead.
And also, let's get started.
All right. I'm not gonna lie. That did catch me off guard. So thank you for choosing to spend your time with us. And if you have subscribed to our channel, we appreciate you. Jazaa K'Allah Khayr. If you haven't, please consider subscribing if anything that we've said has been helpful. You have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.